this type of injury, like you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before. And
this is the first time we heard from Caitlin since the team announced on Memorial Day she was dealing with a left quad strain. She would be out for at least 2 weeks.
We were told that Clark was not seen in the open portion of practice by reporters who are on the ground there.
Just watch and absorb it, and it's the same when, I'm not active.
The WNBA has been shaken after Caitlin Clark finally shared her injury update, and it's not the news the league was hoping to hear.
It could be a possibility, but I could also not be available for that game too. I think just having good perspective is the best way to approach it. Like, yeah, you can be frustrated and whatnot, but, I think the medical team has done a really good job of...
The panic says it all. This entire operation depends on one woman's legs, and they've pushed her so hard that now she can't play or rescue their empty arenas anymore.
Yeah, I'll be reevaluated this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game, but after that, it's, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and what...
So, Caitlin Clark has finally broken her silence, and surprise, she's not coming back early. Honestly, did anyone really expect her to? The WNBA let her take a beating night after night, as if it were a street fight, and now we're supposed to be shocked that she isn't rushing back. Please.
I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine, coming in, getting shots up, but more than anything, I think just focusing on being a really good teammate,
On May 25th, during a high-stakes matchup against the reigning champions, the New York Liberty, Clark went down clutching her left quad. That's the league's top draw, the franchise face, their most valuable player, and yet the league seemed to treat it like no big deal.
We've been told so far by the team is that this is actually an injury that was separate from the quad tightness issue, as Caitlin Clark described it earlier in the preseason, that she dealt with before. So it's a little bit of an interesting situation given that it was this.
On Memorial Day, the Fever finally made it official. Clark is out for at least 2 weeks. Boom. And just like that, the entire league started to unravel like it was held together with scotch tape. Clark herself admitted she'll miss this weekend's game, and then take it day by day, which basically means don't hold your breath. She's not about to risk her career just so the league can keep milking her while doing nothing to protect her.
Asked when she's expected to come back, she told us she would be reevaluated after the weekend. After that, it would be day by day. The Fever are on the road for 2 road games before coming back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse next Saturday.
June 9th is the reevaluation date, but let's be real. No one's expecting some Marvel-style comeback. Clark's human, not a marketing machine, and this injury has clearly tested her patience. While she's sidelined, she's still learning, observing, and leading from the bench. The league, though, acting like it's gravity's fault. Fans aren't just disappointed, they're furious. The moment Clark went down, it was like a nuke dropped on the ticket market. The June 7th matchup against the Chicago Sky was hyped as a blockbuster, Clark versus Reese Round 2. Instead, ticket prices crashed from over $80 to just $14. That's not a dip, that's a fire sale. People canceled trips, refunded hotels, and said it wasn't even worth the gas money. And honestly, who can blame them? Nobody wants to pay premium prices to watch Angel Reese play like she's in a Gatorade commercial while the actual star of the league sits sidelined with a busted quad.
Telling us she's been a connector between her coaches and teammates. They've gone 1 and 2 without her, and they'll be without her again.
Social media lit up with hashtags like hashtag protect our players and hashtag boycott WNBA. And for once, the internet actually made sense. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. Why support a league that can't protect its brightest star? That post racked up thousands of retweets. At this point, it's not even a question. Fans are done staying quiet. They're pissed, and they've got receipts.
Been the time for me to really find some patience, and I've never been a patient person my entire life, so this is definitely testing me a little bit, but I think it's going to be really good for me. And like I said, I've just tried to approach it in the best way I possibly can. I can't.
Fever ticket prices in general have taken a nosedive from an average of $137 down to $80. And that's not a marketing hiccup, that's a league-wide meltdown. This is what happens when the player carrying your entire brand on her back goes down, and suddenly everyone realizes, oh wait, there's no backup plan. Just vibes.
The spectacular. It's not like she's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who draws.
The worst part, some of her flagrant fouls were actually rescinded. Instead of holding her accountable, the league basically handed her a pat on the back. It's like, great job almost decapitating someone, here's a sticker. What are we even doing here? The WNBA's review system is so broken it might as well be run by magic 8 balls. The whole thing's trash. And don't even get me started on the WWE cosplay going on in these games. Between Reese's fake drama and Carrington's reckless attacks, it looks more like a scripted smackdown than professional basketball. Players are dropping like dominoes, while the league just sits on the sidelines tweeting inspirational quotes.
When a player is injured, if the other team knows that a player is injured, they will go after.
Let's call it what it is. Caitlin Clark is out, and the WNBA is exposed. The hype's gone, the seats are empty, and tickets are cheaper than a Happy Meal. Angel Reese is still acting like she's in some superstar rivalry, but without Clark, she's basically yelling into the void. Meanwhile, Carrington's out here treating people's heads like basketballs.
I'm being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing. So you got to still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench. So I try to do that as much as I can for them, and just try to be there for them. I think
this isn't competitiveness, it's carelessness, and it's not on Clark to fix. It's on the league. But judging by how things are going, the only thing the WNBA seems to be protecting is its own denial. Let's not sugarcoat it. When Caitlin Clark left the court, so did the fans, the energy, and the league's entire business model. Viewership tanked like a rigged crypto coin. Arenas started echoing like empty warehouses, and even the popcorn vendors looked bored.
Thing that you guys told us during the offseason about playing quick, playing with pace, pushing the ball up the court, everyone run, they weren't doing that, especially in the last.
The Indiana Fever went 1-2 in her absence, and that lone win? It wasn't thanks to some coaching miracle. It was Ari McDonald, a player signed on a hardship contract, who walked in with zero practice and still carried the team like she'd been there all season.
One thing to keep in mind is that this is a sort of situation where the next 2 weeks, luckily for them, the schedule is a little bit playing the Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun, who haven't won yet. So they are trying to hold down the fort for now, while Caitlin Clark will be out.
And trust me, the fans noticed. Social media turned into a full-blown riot after Clark's injury. X, TikTok, and YouTube all lit up like a Christmas tree on fire. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were ready to burn the house down. People were demanding stricter officiating, real protection protocols, and a complete overhaul of how stars are promoted. You'd think that after losing their biggest asset to reckless contact, the league might show some urgency. But nope, the WNBA's official stance basically boiled down to, let's just hope nobody asks questions.
Commenting that she was sick, you could hear it in her voice that she was sick. It seems like at this point, this is the reason why we haven't seen Caitlin at 100%. We haven't seen her as quick as we saw her last season.
Even Chicago Sky fans, the ones who were foaming at the mouth for Reese's endlessly hyped rematch, started publicly announcing refunds. One fan flat out said, if Clark isn't playing, it's not worth it. Ouch. Imagine buying a ticket to see your own team, then deciding it's not even worth showing up because the other team's star is sidelined. That's the Clark effect. And that's also the WNBA's problem.
a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle, and after the game I had some pain, and then got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see, but those type of things don't lie, so yeah.
And let's be honest, the phrase, "this league is trash without Clark," didn't trend by accident. Fans were furious over dirty plays, blown calls, and the league's PR team pulling a full-on disappearing act. It was like the WNBA hit the mute button on itself. The second accountability was needed.
That it's going to be longer than 2 weeks. With them saying a minimum of 2 weeks, I feel like that's kind of just giving us breadcrumbs, just giving us enough information, and I actually don't think that they're going to give more for the sake of...
Commentators were calling out, while fans kept reposting clips of body slams being passed off as defense. Total chaos. And the bigger issue? The WNBA has too many games riding on too few names. Where's the support for Aya Wilson? Where's the hype for Sabrina Ionescu? Even Angel Reese, for all her performative antics, could have been elevated properly if the league actually knew how to build narratives around more than one player at a time. Instead, the entire league is clinging to one cliffhanger, and now it's left dangling with no resolution in sight.
Seen her as quick as we saw her last season. If you have something going on in your legs, like your legs are actually a huge part of your shooting mechanics, something was thrown off. So if that part of her body was thrown off, it probably threw off the entire mechanics.
Clark's injury didn't just sideline a player, it sucker punched the entire WNBA ecosystem. You want a turning point? This is it. The moment she went down, everything collapsed. Revenue, engagement, excitement, gone. And now fans want answers. They're not sending polite messages, they're demanding change. They're asking why the NBA has biometric tech, specialized trainers, and load management, while the WNBA is out here with YouTube clips and crossed fingers.
Clark's been taking a beating for the last year and a half, and it quickly got physical early in this season, man. There was a lot.
The demands are clear. Invest in real player safety, start marketing more than just one star, and stop letting players get deck midair without so much as a flagrant call. And for the love of the game, teach teams how to actually protect shooters from being clotheslined every other night. Clark's return date is still unclear, and no one wants a rush comeback. Honestly, she shouldn't even consider it until the league proves it can protect her. She's not just a player anymore. She's the brand, the face, the draw, the revenue generator, the whole ecosystem. Yet she's the one lying motionless on the court while the league shrugs. The WNBA either grows up now or watches its golden goose fly away for good. Because Clark may be stuck on the bench, but her silence is louder than any buzzer in the building. And people are finally listening.